It's Clawpaw!
Clawpaw, 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 Clawpaw.
And Squirrel Girl.
Oh, I hate Squirrel Girl.
Now, Chauncey, that's not very nice, is it?
Fuck you, Daddy.
Must learn my rules.
Can I like balloons, please? They make me smile, please. Can I like... Can I like...
Daddy, can I like balloons?
Yes. Yes, Chauncey, you can love balloons if you like.
I don't want to love them, Daddy. I just want to like them. Stupid Daddy.
Hungry Spider! Vomiting Spider!
Chauncey, it's time to eat.
Yay! 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 Yay!
Oh, Chauncey, let me do that for
No!
you.
No! 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 Daddy?
Mm-hmm.
I have to vomit.
Chauncey, wait a second.
Gonzalo Stare. Gonzalo Stare. Gonzalo Stare.
Gonzalo, no stare!
Gonzalo Stare.
Gonzalo, no stare!
Gonzalo Stare.
Gonzalo, no!
Gonzalo Stare.
Gonzalo, no stare!
Gonzalo Stare.
Gonzalo, stare!
Gonzalo Noster.
Gonzalo Ster!
Gonzalo Noster.
Gonzalo Ster!
No.
Ah, sì.
Gonzalo C.
No!
Gonzalo no C.
No!
Gonzalo C.
No!
C. Come to my petting zoo. You can pet my animals. We have geese, turkeys, cows, donkeys, animals, alpacas, emus, sheeps. Why don't you want to pet my animals? Don't you want to pet my animals? No, Mr. Joe. Come pet my animals. 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 Joe!
One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are two speckled frogs.
Ow!
Daddy. Does God exist?
Well, there certainly isn't a giant invisible white man hiding out in the stratosphere of Earth, who created the universe and controls everything within it. In fact, that idea is a result of the same egoistic, species-centric thinking that's in large part responsible for the slow destruction of the planet. For if man is made in the image of God, and God made the planet ultimately for man, then man can overpopulate the planet and plunder it for all its resources, without consequence. As long as they mumble things in unison every weekend at a special building. Now, there are many who meet in these buildings every weekend simply because the communal, ritualistic aspect of it serves as a kind of comfort and can be a way for people to feel a connection with something higher than themselves or deep within themselves. But it certainly does not require all of that hierarchical, patriarchal, dogmatic bullshit. Much of that can be explained by people attaching importance onto certain texts, almost purely over the lure of their antiquity, but also because there are many who like answers for the sake of having answers. And how convenient it is to have all those answers come from one source that tells you everything you ever need to know over your entire life and for the remainder of human existence. A lot of it just comes down to fear as well, Chauncey. Fear allows people to make gods of almost anything. Money is a form of god to many people because greed is the fear of a life illegitimated by the lack of possessions and power. Certain institutions also play the role of god for many people. And that's why they get away with so much violence, especially against those they fear, and usually only because of completely arbitrary differences in physical appearance. People let these institutions dictate their sense of morality because they don't want to be responsible for their own thinking and actions. And there is nothing these institutions can stand more than people's awareness of their own innate freedom to think and act for themselves. Unfortunately, this pathetic dance will exist for many centuries to come. But we can still do our part without being ignorant of it. So, Chauncey, don't create any gods to think for.
So, is Jesus real?
Jesus is only a character, based on a man who was probably real, but if whom we're alive today would probably despise what was done to his persona and his message by rulers throughout history seeking power over their people, and eventually also over many indigenous peoples from all over the world. You see, when people are made to think that by worshiping a divine personality that they'll be rewarded for it afterward in heaven and forgiven for all of their misdeeds, then they're much more willing to let hell remain on earth, especially for those who don't worship the same divine personality. It also really does say something about people, though, who consider basic good advice legitimate only if it comes from someone with superpowers.
Daddy,
Yes?
fuck Jesus.
That's my boy. I'll go watch your cartoons.
Yay! Yay!
And now it's time for Thang of the Thang! Mouse. Mouse.
Chauncey, I think that's enough cartoons for now.
Daddy, I want to know where the cook goes.
Chauncey, I think it was pretty obvious where it was going to go, all right? So,
But, Daddy, you turned it off before I could know, Daddy. Where does the cook go, Daddy?
Chauncey, you're too young for this conversation.
But I need to know, Daddy.
I'll tell you when you're older.
Now, Daddy!
Chauncey, don't you ever take that tone of voice with me again!
Sorry, Daddy. I just want to know.
Chauncey, you can ask me any question in the world. Any question at all. Besides that one.
Daddy,
Yes?
what's the meaning of life, Daddy?
Well, the meaning of life, I suppose, depends on the function of an organism, which should probably be defined by how it best adapts to its environment while also remaining in balance with it. For humans and the like, the best way we do that is by becoming knowledgeable in all the ways we can, collectively at least, and being emotionally mature enough to use that information correctly. That is when we're at our best. So that is our function, or niche. Any other questions?
Are aliens real? And Bigfoot? And dogmen?
Well, Chauncey, the possibilities of evolution are almost infinite, whether on this planet or the many others in the universe that are likely capable of supporting life, including intelligent life. And there are many people who claim to have witnessed these things you've mentioned. There are also many people who immediately deny the possibility of these things because they aren't officially recognized yet. The problem with that is the universe is over 14 billion years old. And these know-it-alls have been around for about 40. You see, by thinking they already know everything, it means they don't have to do anything to prove it. On the other side of the laziness spectrum, you have those who believe in everything, because once again, it means they don't have to do anything. So, Chauncey, if you really are concerned with expanding our knowledge of a matter, rather than being a know-it-all or a sensationalist, then there are lesser known yet established methods of doing this. Just remember that in the search for one thing, you may come across other things you did not expect. So all I'll tell you is, beware the woods at night. Any other questions?
What happens when we die? Do we turn into ghosts, Daddy?
Chauncey, I'm not sure what happens. What I do know is that nothing truly disappears, but only changes in form, and that no form is itself permanent. When we die, our bodies are recycled into the earth. So, maybe, if wisdom and memories are made of something much finer than meat, perhaps they are recycled in a different way. Take, for instance, the fact that for the heart to start in a fetus, it needs to be activated by a faint electric impulse in the brain. Now, scientists can't tell you specifically how that first impulse begins, but it must have an origin, even if that origin is as of yet undetectable. So, perhaps, when we die, there is a source of that impulse that leaves the same way it came in, undetected. It is pretty safe to assume, though, that if I can't remember anything before I had a brain, that I probably won't remember anything after I have one. Maybe some of that information from a once living entity is transformed into what is perceived as ghosts. But I don't think that when I die, I'll be a transparent version of myself, wandering the same place for eternity, just waiting for the chance to go boo at someone once in a while. Still, if certain residual aspects of a person exist long after death, then I can't see why the more important aspects of a person wouldn't carry on for a more functional purpose. Either way, Chauncey, you shouldn't be afraid of death. Of course, life should be lived to its fullest natural extent, and death should be avoided if possible. But whatever your path ends up being, know that since the life and death process is as old as time, that you should trust that there's a good reason for why it works the way it does. And moreover, Chauncey, nothing, not even death, whatever its form or however premature, can erase or delegitimize the beauty and dignity of a life lived with those same qualities. All right?
Daddy,
Yes, Chauncey.
I have one more question.
Yes, Chauncey.
Where does the cock go? Daddy, where does it go?
Chauncey, the cock goes in the ass! The donkey, I mean. The cock goes in the donkey.
Cocks go in donkeys?
No, Chauncey, not really. Except for that one, apparently.
Which one? Where is he? I need to speak with him immediately, Daddy.
Hey, Chauncey. It's just a cartoon. Chauncey, roosters can go many places and do many things. But that's a conversation for a much more distant time.
Daddy,
Mm-hmm.
am I a freak, Daddy?
Mm-hmm. Chauncey, almost anyone could be considered a freak to somebody else for some silly reason. It's just that those are the things that people don't divulge immediately to one another or in public situations. And people generally know this about each other, so it's nothing to be too concerned about.
Daddy, tell me how it came to be that I am this thing.
I knew one day this question would come. And I suppose I should answer it. Lend me your ears, Chauncey. It's story time. And I imagined that the sock was something else. What I did not imagine, however, was that the gestation period for a sock was also apparently 9 months. For 9 months later, you came crawling out from underneath the bed to greet your daddy. I immediately took to my role as father. However, not having the ability to produce milk, I had to feed you teat blood. And I nursed.
Daddy, I still don't want to be a freak, Daddy.
Chauncey, you're not really a freak. Daddy, however, is most certainly a freak.
How are you a freak, Daddy?
Well, only a real freak destroys the things he loves most in the world because they're too beautiful to take. Because happiness and belonging are so foreign that they can't truly be deserved or even real. Unfortunately, Chauncey, our different forms of freakishness tend to garner the same results. Because once you've been designated as such, you may be brave enough to reach out for help. But sometimes, the more you reach, and the more desperate you appear, and the more the perfect ones will ignore it. And it will kill you. Now at this point, Chauncey, you'll start to shift back and forth between two different realities. In reality one, you conclude that your freakishness gives you a special lens through which to see the world, thereby allowing you to affect the world in ways that the sane and happy ones probably can't. In reality two, you'll conclude that reality one is just a lie to yourself in order to feel as though you're a distant yet somehow integral part of the lives of those who still care for deeply, when actually you're just a failure whose existence is meaningless and inconsequential.
Which reality is the real reality, Daddy?
Well, it's somewhat the same with the question concerning the meaning of life. Which of those realities best aids in the function of living? It's very hard to live your life second by second, convinced there's no reason to. So, even though it may feel like that sometimes, it's important to remember in the back of your mind at least that since life is a result of a process infinitely older than you or I, it must be respected, even if one day you're a complete outcast to the ones you love. I wish, Chauncey, that I could tell you to live for the birds, flowers, and fluffy clouds, but sometimes they just aren't enough, even if they absolutely should be. For whatever reason you give yourself for living, whether it is for the birds, flowers, and fluffy clouds, or for those who can't live any longer, or for the stray chance of coming upon a lost happy memory, or even if you live just to spite futility, then you do it because correct to live.
Yes, Daddy.
Good boy.
Daddy?
Hmm?
Yay! Yay!